Lecha, an amazing parasha where it feels like we meet Abraham for the first time, although in fact the astute reader and listener will notice that Abraham appeared ever so slightly at the end of the Torah reading for Noah, in the strangest story in which he is already leaving his hometown together with his father as they are going from Ur Kasdim to Haran. And then Lecha begins and tells us that God tells Abraham, go from your father's house and from your homeland. And this is a strange situation, because how could Abraham be getting this from God if his pagan father had already moved them along? And our Midrash teaches us that Abraham, in fact, looked up in the world and saw that it could not be that idolatry was the way that ran the world, and rather understood that there must be one God. And they likened Abraham to somebody who sees a palace alit, perhaps in flames and perhaps in light, and says, is there not someone taking care of this palace? And the landlord, the palace owner, comes out and says, here I am. And so it is in the relationship of Abraham and God. Maimonides tells us that this is a rationalistic story. It proves that Abraham did not need to hear anything, that Abraham could intuit and understand the way the world works and God's role in this world, and that Abraham understood that there is only one God. A later philosopher, Schechter, takes issue with this rationalism of Maimonides and tells us in his book, The Light of God, that in fact, when Abraham says there must be a God, God's light emanates on Abraham and says, here I am. I want to suggest from this reading of Kreskas that something else is happening when God and Abraham have this interaction. That when God sends God's light to Abraham and Abraham feels it, they interact, and this here I am and this go forth is a way of God and Abraham establishing the importance of relationship. And this is the backbone of all of Judaism. Of course, the person whose job it is to spread the word of ethical monotheism and Judaism to the world is somebody who understands not just the power of relationship, but that it is the very life and breath of who we are. Abraham understands how important relationship is, and it is through developing relationships with people that he is able to spread his revolutionary idea and bring God to our world. It is in this moment that we understand that Judaism is not just about one person and God. Judaism is about the relationships that we build with one another. Shavua Tov from Schechter.